Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We're on episode 117 today.
Yay.
Coming off of a very,
Thanksgiving.
for us, a very eventful Thanksgiving weekend. It has not been very productive for me. And
I can't say the same.
Yeah. As per the norm, a lot of just, I won't get into too much detail this week about all the things that happened, but with sick kiddos and just a lot of unexpected turn of events, kind of left me not really focusing on my projects, and I don't really think anybody would expect anything less with everything that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But we still.
And over in our household, I've got a grove of trees growing. and so, let me introduce you to
They have names.
the Christmas trees that I have made for
2023.
for little ones. First, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I am going to start with the very first one that I did. The first one that I showed you 2 weeks ago that is not according to pattern. I ended up going and doing my own thing.
Inspired.
And it's more like a stuffy now. My granddaughter wants it. I could not give it to her until after I did this video, so I don't know.
We should still do more with it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show you. Just let me show you a minute. So, it looks to me like a giant candy kiss.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We should do the whole thing.
So here we go. It is my Christmas tree stuffy that ends up looking like a Hershey's Kiss with a little star at the top. Now, I did do the star according to the pattern. She did have a very good pattern for that. I really like that. Sarah had the eyes, and we did a little mouth. But the rest of this is just kind of, I have a bigger gauge than the person who did the pattern. It just started going off, and I I ended up not putting enough stuffing into it, so it's a real squishy Christmas tree. And that was done in Red Heart. It's a 4-ply yarn, and it's medium time. I put a little swatch up there so I could remember which color was which. But that was what this little stuffy Christmas tree was made out of.
You know what you should do?
What?
You should get lace.
Ooh.
And make tinsel, like,
Oh.
or have the skirt that normally is the skirt of the tree be a little tutu, and then the star, you could give it eyelashes, and then you could make it a theme, like if it's ballerina theme, make all the ornaments ballerina stuff.
Oh my goodness! See,
Well,
inspiration right here, folks. So that was what started this whole thing. But then I thought,
you went complete.
I went into a different mode. I was like, I don't want to make any more like that because it's too much counting for me. So what I did was I started looking around my house, and I have a wind spinner from Ophelia Talks. And I looked at it and I thought, if I don't think you're going to be able to get it down. If I get a Christmas tree cone from Joann's, I could wrap that around the cone it's already naturally going into a circle anyway, and I could make a Christmas tree out of that. So using some more of this medium time, I think I ended up using most of it. I was able to make a Christmas tree out of that. Now this is, like I said, it was based off a pattern of a wind spinner, and I just kind of made it a little bit bigger, and then I chose to do white on the end so it looked like a flat Christmas tree. Now this is a bigger cone than I'm going to show you for the kids', but I ended up chopping off the top of it because I didn't have enough it wasn't, my yarn good was not as big as the cone, and so, and that's fine with me. I have still not found a star for the top.
This little angel.
I could. Now, it's just gonna come up with all these ideas. This one I pinned, and I found pins at Joann's. Now this is a color called gunmetal gray, and I was able to find those. I didn't want, you know, a lot of the pins over there are that bright yellow or a white, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do the white on the ends of these. I wanted something that would not show as much, and so that's what I chose, and I think this one turned out really, really cute. Now I stuck with the same diameter all the way around, all the way to the top. There's a lot of ruffles on this, and they're all the same size.
No matter the size of the cone, the lace that she made is the same.
It's the same all the way to the top. And my husband's like, yeah, that's good, but if you have it bigger at the bottom and thin it as you go up, it might look a little bit better. And I looked at it and I thought, he may be right on that. So this is not done. I mean, it's completed as it's going to get at this particular time. I still need a topper on it, but I'm going to put it right here for now, and it's going to be our little reminder that Christmas is coming. So that's basically what I made it for, just so that it would be behind us like the pumpkin was before. Now we've got a little bit of reminder of what's coming up and what we're trying to, you know,
we're trying to do. We're
yeah.
in.
Okay.
Not that the weather will really let us forget.
So the next one.
Which one are you showing?
I'm going to show hers.
Yay. I love the tea.
So Olivia does not know this is coming yet. She doesn't even know I made it or anything. No.
She's not free.
This cone is a FloraFom number 12, and I found it at Joann's. This is the label. This is the size that I chose for the children. That one is bigger. I'm not sure what size. It may be a 14, 15. I'm not sure. I forgot to save the label from that one. Okay. The same applies, except for this tree, I did start to taper off, going towards the top.
Same amount of stitching, but
to start with.
Right,
the chain.
With the chain, all the same sort of increases, but on the last rounds, when it came from starting to ending, my mom went from a taller stitch to a shorter stitch, going down the ribbon, so that when she fanned it out across the cone, with the
as the cone got thinner, so did
so did the lace.
Yeah. So this
So cool.
is the tree that I made for my granddaughter. It's got a star at the top, got pom-poms for lights.
I don't know how well it's coming off of, but the green is more of a teal.
Yes, this is a red heart 4-ply jade. So that's what this one is. And I got the pom-poms from Dollar Tree. And I was able to use glue. Now I glued it at the very beginning and at the very top. The star also came from Dollar Tree. I put the star on when I was up here, when I finally got all the way around, and I glued with Beacon 3-in-1. I got this from Hobby Lobby, or no, this one was from Joann. No, Hobby Lobby. And it was a glue that actually held on to the styrofoam and to the yarn, and it held each one of these pom-poms on very good. I mean, I put the glue on, the pom-pom, put it on there, and took my hand away, and it was already glued. It was that good. And so that's tree number 1. And for Mr. Canyon, he loves green. Green is his color. Well, I wanted something a little more sophisticated for him. So I went with a red heart 4-ply camouflage. And it is this camouflage kind of yarn. I thought it could have layers. I thought, you know, I really love variegated. I love the change of colors and everything. And I thought that would be really, really pretty as a Christmas tree. Now his, I also had it go smaller at the top. I glued all of the little pom-poms on. It really came out well. He's got a golden star at the top as well. Now, the difference with hers and his,
Here, I got it.
hers on the white, I did 2 single crochets for the white in each stitch. That made it more ruffly. It made it more girly, more ruffly, and I thought that would be really, really good for hers. His, I simply did one single crochet in each stitch, and it didn't make it as ruffly, but I think it still turned out very, very well. And he didn't need his as roughly, he just needs to be able to see all the colors.
Yeah.
And with his being so dark,
It shows off
those colors showed up so well.
Yeah.
And because he liked green, I did a bunch of the greens on there and yellows, and I even put the pink on there because it's
just the color.
Yeah,
It
it makes it look like a bunch of lights on there.
Yeah.
Now, I was able, sorry about that, to do all that with separate. I started out watching her video again on the wind chime, or the wind spinner, for Ophelia Talks. I wrote it down, and that's kind of what I did starting off with that, but I just made it a little bit thicker, you know. I put the triple crochets in there. I ended up making my own pattern for the 12 or number 12 cone, if you would like to make your own. So I will put the pattern that I came up with in the description
if you want to replicate it.
if you want to replicate it. Now, on one of these, right before the yarn turns white, I have to do 2 double crochets in half the chains. So what I did was I bent the ribbon, or the whatever you call
The
this.
foundation chain.
Yeah,
in
well,
half.
no, I did it. By then, it's become a ribbon because this is your last line of the color.
Right. You
So
just bent it in half so you knew where the middle was.
Yes, and I put a safety pin in there, or a light bulb pin, or some kind of stitch marker. Mm-hmm. You put that into the halfway mark. And when I did 2 double crochets in half of that line, when I got up to that stitch marker, I did 2 half double crochets in the other half.
That caused the drop in the size of the stitch.
Yeah. And then you go to the white yarn, and either you do a single crochet in each, 2 single crochets in each, or 2 half double crochets in each, depending on if you want the ruffle or you don't. And then you wrap it from the bottom up. If you want to glue it, you can use that beacon 3-in-1. If you want to pin it, you just start at that and you start winding it around, and it usually just stays in place. That styrofoam with the yarn seems to just, and it's already going in around anyway. So it usually stays right in place. And then so you can pin it in various places if you want to, but otherwise you can just pin it at the top or glue the top of the tree yarn at the top after you put your star in there, or after, if you decided that you want some other kind of topping on there. You're going to want something on there first if it wraps around the tree. Then wrap that around and glue it or pin it in place, and then you've got your tree. Now you can decorate it any way you want. I just thought that these little pom-poms from Dollar Tree were so bright and so old-fashioned-y. The vintage lights, the great big bulbs, that's kind of what I was going for, and it really turned out neat. They'll be able to cherish these for years. And so I'm going to put this pattern into the description if you want to follow it for yourself and make your own. And I just think they turned out really, really cute, and now I'm going to be able to give them to my granddaughter and my grandson, and I can't wait to see my granddaughter's face. She has no idea this is coming. Caniel has been at the house for a couple hours now. He saw all the Christmas decorations we have up in the house. He just figured this was part of it. It was just blending in. He never considered that it might be for him. So it'll be a surprise for both of them, and I'm looking forward to seeing their faces when that happens. So yeah. So what have you been up to?
Okay, so with everything being said about, my brief and kind of limited overview of what my last 2 weeks have been, I haven't done a lot, and that's not fun. Last time I talked, I feel like we had to talk about, just skin,
Your hands.
my
situation.
hands, and that's been a factor, though. Finally coming to terms with my eczema, I've been able to figure out what creams work a little bit better, recognizing when it's just not going to work as well, things like that. But the other thing that I'd like to say is just the mindset that you're in when you're doing the crafting, because if you're not in the mood,
you might as well not do it.
It's one of those things where it's like when you don't want to cook, it's the whole cooking and love thing where it's like you can feel there's a difference in the food. With this, it feels kind of the same way. Not saying that you always have to be in the mood, because you can get there by making yourself happy by crafting and such, but it doesn't take away the fact that if your hands are not exactly feeling it, and the moment doesn't feel right, even though you might have the time, you have to just recognize when
that's the whole thing. You need your hands to do it.
So, I've had some limitations with all that, but I wanted to share with you some things, which are the one thing I did crochet during this time, and some of the things I might have briefly touched on, and one new tool that I just recently bought that I think even has my mom like, it just seems like cool.
It's kind of exciting.
It's kind of just a very innovative little gadget.
Yes.
But I'll start with the thing I did make. So here's the thing. My sister-in-law is kind of, she's in some sort of form of like home care, like for those either in recovering stages of certain types of coming home from some sort of ailment, or whether it just be assisted living, or in that sort of a term. She just does that. She's always been naturally gifted in that area, and she had kind of she'd kind of been inspired by some ideas that she saw online of just making little small pick-me-up gifts, and she had asked if we would be willing to kind of make one for someone she knew. And
I didn't know how to make it, so I asked Sarah to do it.
So pretty much my mom sent to me this little aragurumi pickle. Had a little face on it, and it was holding a little sign, and it said, "You're a big dill." And it was just supposed to be a little pick-me-up gift, a little, smile.
Yeah.
And I ended up coming over that day because Olivia had insisted that she see Nana and Papa that day, because how dare she not get to see her Nana and Papa?
Because she goes to school full time.
And so she doesn't get to see them ever. And so while we're eating dinner, my mom pretty much supplies me with all the yarn. And before dinner was done...
that ended up being the same as the... Oh, maybe not.
I end up making this. And I even made it warty.
It's a pickle. I love it.
Yeah, and I gave it simple features, just sewing on the black and then outlining the just kind of like the two sides with the white to kind of create defined pupils. A little smile with a little bit of blush, but yeah, I did make all those little bumps as I was just crocheting along, and I really didn't have a pattern. I just had a generalized idea with the image that was given to me, and the sort of set expectation and just what a pickle looks like, But they do want my sister-in-law does want arms for it to kind like with some wire to possibly hold the little card that she plans to have it hold, to say the whole little, your big deal. I'm thinking about making it look like it has like t-shirt sleeves and then having little arms come out of it.
Yes.
So I'm in the midst of finishing up this little project to give her, so she's able to continue on with her little pick-me-ups that she was apt to get done. And then I forgot, I feel like last time when I was showing off the squares from my mother-in-law's blanket, that I forgot to bring the black yarn that I've been using, and I have been splitting, so it's a big thick black yarn at a weight of, what's its weight? 6. It's a bulky yarn. It's made up of 4 strands twisted together, but the strands on their own are quite thick, like probably the equivalent of a normal 3-weight yarn or something.
Maybe even a 4-weight.
Depending.
Yeah.
But I've been splitting it to make it last double the length, and also it feels like the right weight when I split it into 2, instead of having it be this thick, splitting it up to be able to it just feels right. But I wanted to share the yarn that I was using, and that's Yarn Bee. I don't know if this is a Hobby Lobby exclusive.
I think it is.
But it's called Uber, U-B-E-R, Luxe, L-U-X-E, black. Again, the project that I'm referring to, for those that might only be tuning in just now, I've made 12 big mitered squares in a very specific ombre variegated that I was given as my yarn. And it is a very chunky yarn, lime brain yarn, I do believe, that the person that it's going to has a wool allergy, so it appears as if it is wool, but it's not.
Right.
It is an acrylic, and so finding a yarn that complements this one and the texture and the feel that isn't just a blanket yarn size, because a lot of yarn this size is like that blanket yarn feel. Excuse me. But it's to get yarn that's in this size that's not that is an acrylic that's not blanket yarn can be sometimes challenging.
Oh yeah.
So to find something that appears in that wool appeal, almost.
Yeah.
But it is acrylic is quite a treasure.
Ooh, and it's so soft.
Oh yes,
too.
it's very soft. So the last thing I want to share is this thing that's called, what was it called? This.
It's a.
Oh, it was a special weave? Or
Loom?
Yeah.
A loom?
Yeah. It's this little gadget. I just got it from Amazon, and I've kind of saved it to share with you guys. It comes with some traditional loom appeals, but it's like a. It's not. How do I? It's not like a loom that's just you brace it so that you can embroider. It's a loom in which it's built to also weave on demand and support. So you have this disc, these two discs that kind of are, it might just be one solid piece that just has the ridge, but it has a ridge all the way around. It almost kind of looks like a cookie.
Yeah.
And you can get this in many different sizes. It comes in many different sizes.
Oh,
I just got a very specific size. And what you do, so I'll just illustrate. So this is a shirt that I made for my dad with my kids' handprints on them, with their little like O and K for Olivia and Caniel. And it kind of suffered a bit of a hole, and so my dad's been asked me to repair it. Well, this tool would help me with that. Pretty much you take this disc into the back of the work, and you end up kind of locating where the damaged section of your material is that you want to patch, and then it comes with rubber bands that you then, after taking this section, which is the piece that allows you to frame and weave, kind of push that into the groove. You take the rubber band and you isolate the area by bracing it also on this to keep it in place. Mm-hmm. And you allow these to allow you to use the hooks to brace the yarn or the thread or however you're planning to create the patch, and using also the fabric around it, you can then weave and, loom this perfect size patch just over the hole that you have. Because once you're done with this section and all other three sides have been taken care of, you take these loops off and you just sew them onto down onto the material, and then you can just tie off and stitch off, and you've pretty much created a little patch just for that section with this little isolated gadget.
Yeah.
Now it comes with a little rubber bands for the sake of the project in the bag. It does come with a very large darning needle it is quite large, and it does have its little brace. And this item that, I can't remember what these are called, but it does have like the little release that when you're going through to hook it, when you pull it back through, it traps the yarn with the little tail when it's being pulled back out, but when it's being pushed through, the little arm opens back up. Then you grab it and it locks itself back through the project. It is definitely designed for much more weaving things, but yeah, I thought this little tool was quite nifty when I saw it be used to make on-demand patches in very small locations of articles of clothing, or just whatever you want to kind of create this little spot of color or whatever on your clothes or whatever you're using it on. I saw this advertised on Pinterest. I searched for it, found it on Amazon, and got it. And with the deal that it was on it, I think might have been because of Black Friday sales that were happening leading up to Black Friday. I got this for like $10.
And you got it quick then.
Maybe a little bit less, maybe more like $7. I don't remember.
Wow.
But this was just one of the sizes that they have. They do have a little bit bigger sizes. They do have smaller sizes.
Wow.
So I got like the medium size for what I got. I can offer my mom the link so that you guys can kind of search.
Yeah.
But it does come with some understanding as to what the tool is supposed to offer. So I'll show you that because I don't have really anything to show of it yet on my own. This paper might be able to give you a bit of an idea as to some of the things that it can perform to do. These little weaves, patches of articles of clothing on demand that allow you to kind of make very nice, colorful designs.
And it said you can search for videos online. Search Speedweve, which is SPEEDWEVE, and you'll find detailed learning process.
Yep, for this tool and how it can be used. So yeah, I saw that it has been showing up on my Pinterest like crazy, and I thought that I'd give it a try, and I honestly think this will be something that comes into great use, especially with my children who, you know, are apt to wear out going to be apt to wear out their clothes before their due date. So
Yeah.
it'll just be nice to have as a little tool to patch up their clothes.
Yeah. And it's in a nice little pouch as well. It's all a zipper pouch, and so you can keep it and throw it in your bag and just go.
Yeah, and I think it will be able to fit in my little notions pouch, so I just have to find a spot for it.
There you go. It's all good.
So yeah, I just figured, you know, sometimes going to places like Pinterest can kind of help you think outside the box.
Oh man.
And if you've really curated what you like to, you know, especially with projects like, you know, even if you're looking for a hairstyle, looking for a specific look for an event, or whatever it is that you're trying to find, even just for crafting, sometimes they have interesting ads to try to, like, you know, obviously it's the internet, it's websites that want you to be able to buy things, but there's also a practicality to some of the things that you would have never thought could be useful, not just impractical and don't need, but things that are like, this could enhance my hobby. This could really,
Or you never knew existed.
Yeah, so I just thought I would give it a try, and with how nice of a price it was, it might feel a little cheap somewhat, but it's thin metal. It's supposed to just be right there in your hands, so it's not like it's going to be, you know, classy or anything, but it doesn't take away the functionality of it.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I just figured I would share that with you this week, and hopefully
So
I'll have
good.
more next week.
Yeah. So I did pick out a scripture for us today. Oh, she's laughing already. Okay, here we go. I chose one. I'm going to move
And
the camera
tell them why.
I'm going to. I'm going to move the camera just for a second. Okay. I wanted something that had something to do with green tree. I didn't think pine tree was in the Bible. And I don't know if it is or not. I didn't really look for pine tree, but I wanted something green tree. So the verse that I found, verses, there's two. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope is the Lord, for he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and will not fear when heat comes, but its leaf will be green, and will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. So, blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope is in the Lord. He's going to be likened to a green tree by the water who never goes into drought. And I think that is really a nice way of saying that if you stay in the Lord, you will be full of hope, full of life. Green is life. And full of trust and all the things, it's something even nice for Christmas coming up. You have the hope, the joy, the trust, the green trees, and evergreens are picked on purpose for everlasting life. So it's really, really nice that we can make things to celebrate the season and the light of the world and all the things, You've got the star, you've got the evergreen, you've got the lights. It's all represented to bring about the joy of Jesus. Jesus is the reason for the season. So that's my take on this. I just wanted something that was mentioning green tree for all the pine trees that I was able to make. And so that's where we're at right now.
Pine trees are recorded in the Bible.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are mentioned, pine trees among other trees to be planted for lasting beauty. And questioning it was supposed to. I think it's supposed to be some sort of theoretical, like what happens when those beautiful trees are gone, when they are destroyed by a hurricane or simply die because they are considered an everlasting representation.
Right.
They're evergreens. But there was also a note of which notes that pines and fig trees inhabited the good lands of Lebanon.
Oh.
A place home to those granted in grace. And this is all from Isaiah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I didn't know.
It was a simple search on Google. I really have no backstory here. But, yeah they are recorded in the Bible.
So, that's our video for today. And you have any more?
No,
Okay.
so it's fun, it's fun when you have so much joy to be able to offer in such a fun celebration and item. My son and I read a book the other day about a pine tree turning into a Christmas tree, and he was enjoying that, and
it's a little golden book too.
Yeah, and their story and how they navigated it. He brought that up when we walked in and saw my parents' Christmas tree all decorated and with these and all this stuff. It's just great. So
yeah.
So. All right, well, we thank you for anyone who's made it all the way to the end. We hope that you have a great time with your crafting and that you're getting all your projects done before the holiday comes, Christmas or whatever. And we hope that you have enjoyed our video and that you might possibly follow along for what we might have more in store.
Yeah.
We are... definitely going to see you guys next week.
Yep. And we want to thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. We have gotten new subscribers lately, and we want to thank you for being here.
Yes, so as always, we hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and we always have a fun time making these. And until next time, we hope that you stitch your way
To mental health.